came here because you care about Africa. This conference is organized by students because we are passionate about connecting the continent with the students of African descent who are here, so that we begin to see Africa as an investment opportunity and not as a charity case. And so we're looking forward to having engaging conversations over the next 2 days and begin to shape that Africa together.
So what we try to do with ADC is to put out Africa's story on our own terms by Africans. We organize a conference that is organized by African students and students of African descent. We bring panelists that are African and we discuss issues that are of importance to Africa.
So you're bringing like-minded people from around the continent. You're giving them a platform to share experiences, but also to pick apart and dissect how we're doing things, and is it working and what does it look like, and that I think is really powerful.
We are reminded of the significant role that Africa plays in the global community. This year's theme, Reimagining Africa's Growth on Our Terms, is an inspiring call to action that challenges us to embrace our creativity as we discuss the issues that are most pressing to Africa's development.
We have serious people in the room, dignified guests, but we also have activists for the green economy. And we want to be able to have us have these conversations, because this is how we set our tone, having our conversations.
Today, at this conference, we are taking a different approach. We are thinking about reimagining our growth on our terms, with a clear vision of what we want to achieve and how we want to get there. Africa will have the largest youth population in the world. Imagine all of these people are healthy, educated, and productive.
Literally, we will be tomorrow's leaders, and so I think it's very important to have these young voices contribute to how they view Africa in the future.
If Africa does not define what is good for Africa, or we do not find what we need from within, we cannot really have a successful and thriving trade relationship between our various countries.
The principle is self-determination, not international interference, not being governed by illegitimate elites who don't have to seek power, not development that is decided on our behalf at our time, but a governance that is centered on the people.
The work I do with the government of Nigeria is enabling environment. We've been trying to do a lot of work on our power generation, broadband, roads and rail, hard infrastructure certainly, then soft infrastructure, regulatory processes, how fast is it to get your permits.
One of the themes that has come out of the deliberations at the summit is the use of data. The use of data to allow Africa to leapfrog conventional technologies and go all the way to the ultimate form of digitization.
The digitalization of the world is so important, and the youth are driving that. They're the ones that are really pushing that agenda forward, and they understand it so much better than anyone else. They have to be driving it. They have to be sitting next to us, changing those policies, adapting those policies to see how they want the future to be.
The transferring of information and how it gets to people is very important. So obviously, Wi-Fi connectivity is an essential part in digitizing Africa.
If you want to order a cab, if you want to order food, you want to speak to your loved ones, you need internet. So Wi-Fi access and access to the internet is increasingly becoming as critical as access to water.
You can have your digitization, but in order to switch on the engine of digitization, you will need electricity.
There are no shortcuts to core infrastructure, roads, rail, all these aspects, these building blocks, they are fundamentally important that we need to build.
What I humbly request from the panel, what actually is the problem?
There is nothing wrong with Africa.
Thank you.
It's a perception. And a perception is not something that you can put in numbers. And we have to create the environment. And it is being created now. We are seeing some positive investment.
I do believe that we have to reframe the discussion. It's not about stopping a coal-fired power plant in Botswana because of climate considerations. No? It's really about if the world wants Africa to play a role in decarbonization, that role has to include not only local reductions, but producing at home the enablers of global reductions.
There's always a local context that one needs to understand. And a conference like this allows us to speak about the story, give the examples, and inspire others to adopt some of the learnings that we have.
The Africa I want to see is an Africa that is going beyond this tag, this narrative that Africa is always behind, to being an Africa that actually takes the lead and takes charge.
It's daring, it's courageous, it's bold, it's unapologetic.
And so as we think about a future for Africa, the Africa of tomorrow must be a story not only of the past, but of all of the possibilities that the future holds.